Just when the inflation rate is cooling down to more normal levels, a key driver of inflation is heating up again. And that's the price of oil, which factors into just about everything we buy. Jeannie Lee is here with more. Jeannie, just how much has oil been on the rise again?
Well, if we're talking about the benchmark that we talk about quite often, which is West Texas oil, which is the U.S. benchmark, Natalie, it's up more than 15%, which is a lot, especially when you consider that it's happened in just one single month, the month of July so far. So let's take a look at this chart, which shows you exactly what's been happening. This shows the price of WTI going back over the last 6 months, and you see that it actually went up above $83 a barrel in April, and then started to fall. But that gray area that we've shaded for you there shows you the month of July. It has gone straight back up again towards the peak that we saw earlier this year, which means that if this keeps up, we may be looking at another new high for this year. So the sharpest rise in 18 months in just the month of July, more than 15%. And it's not the only type of oil that's on the boil. So let's take a look at what we mean by when we say that. We have, as we said, July's jump in the price of West Texas Intermediate, up 15.3%. Meanwhile, Brent crude, which is the international benchmark, is up about 13.4%, so also right up there. And Western Canadian Select, very important price for our Canadian producers, up 9.3%. So again, it's not just a sharp move in a short time, it's also happening at a time when people were starting to say, okay, you know what, we may have gotten this inflation monster wrestled down, and there may be some relief for consumers and businesses out there. But if this keeps up, energy prices obviously will not help the overall inflation rate.
So, Jeannie, what's the potential impact there on our many costs of living?
We're already seeing it in the last month, along with the price of those oils that I told you about, because oil and the price of oil really factor into just about everything we buy. Just in terms of transportation alone, think of all the transportation that's needed to move raw materials to the factories, to energize those factories, then to move that finished product to stores, and then into your home. All of it requires these various forms of energy. And here's what's happened to some of these prices. Gasoline in the last month, again, we're talking just the month of July, up 20%. So that's where you may be feeling a hike of 15, 20 cents per liter in the last few weeks. Heating oil. Not heating oil season for a lot of people, but some people are preparing for it, and they will be paying 25% more for heating oil this month than last month. Diesel up 11.5%. A lot of trucks, long-haul trucks, are of course powered by diesel, and of course oil itself is such a component in so many things, like plastic. You need a lot of oil to make plastic, and so much plastic is still produced, and of course packaging for just about everything that we use is largely done with plastic. So on it goes, and that'll all add up. And don't be surprised if you're going to see some higher prices from here. Even with the overall inflation rate headed in the right direction, it may go up before it goes down again.
Oof, okay, so let's check in on those prices and other market news, Jeannie.
Right. Well, we're going to take a look at the TSX Composite here at home first, and we'll see that it is on the rise by 99 points, about 0.5%. So it keeps on benefiting from those higher oil prices because our Canadian stock market is made up of energy stocks so heavily. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ markets, though, and the Dow also, the U.S. markets that we tend to look at, very, very flat today. And this is because there has been quite a move up lately, and there's going to be big news in the days ahead from the big tech companies. How are they doing? Has their stock price gone up way too much for what the companies are worth? Those are the big questions today, so a little bit of hesitation ahead of that. And then you have the Canadian dollar. It is at about 76 cents US and has been around there for a few days now. As the price of oil, we're talking about oil, there it is, West Texas oil higher by another 75 cents, above $81 a barrel. Brent crude above $85 a barrel. So these are prices we haven't seen since pretty much April, Natalie, and ones to watch definitely.
Thank you so much, Jeannie.
You're welcome.